We're back. It's in the Heart of Rage. I think we're session 19, um, which is starting to catch up to Blaze of Cruelty a little bit. So that's good. Um, right now, we're really only missing Darrow, and we probably won't have another session this November, mainly because of where the date falls. I'll keep you guys in the know. We're probably going to be going away for Thanksgiving itself for like a day. We'll just probably not be available that day. I don't know what the rest of my family's doing because no one has cemented any plans yet. So we'll see. But if you guys know what you're doing and whether or not you can or cannot make that date, let me know in our Discord chat so I can figure out if there's any need for me to like adjust anything ahead of time, right? When our threshold is about 2 or 3 players not being able to make it, we cut the game entirely. So, is that good for everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. I know there's some Canadians here in the game, and you may have a different Thanksgiving date, I think, or a Thanksgiving equivalent kind of date. So
we did our Thanksgiving already.
Oh, okay. All right. So we completely skipped over that. Wonderful. Okay. Well, that makes it easier. I can breathe easy now. Okay.
Yeah, really, you just have to worry about maple syrup day next.
What? Oh. Now, is this a holiday where you guys like submerge yourselves in maple syrup and like have maple syrup fights or something like that?
Well, there's no fighting because the experience of being fully submerged into a vat of maple syrup does allow you to see the undercurrent of the cosmos. So like no one's in a fight after that, but then we drink it all. So pretty good holiday.
That's great. I love it. Love every part of that. Okay. Yeah. Then that's all the scheduling bits we have for this game. We have A Blaze of Cruelty and At the Door of Eternity on Saturday, the 16th. And then we have In the Heart of Rage, potentially session 20, potentially on the 27th. Lots of potentially. So, as usual, we have our campaign to get bonuses for your sessions. I do not believe there are any bonuses that can be attributed to this session. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the last bonuses that were purchased were on the 23rd of October, which was during In the Heart of Rage, which would apply to the next game that was played. The next game that would come up in the schedule, which was the second, which then had to be canceled. So those bonuses will roll over into the 16th game. It's for the next game. So I will donate a bonus for you guys myself because I'm kind like that, because it's not nice to not have a bonus. So I'll give you guys a +1 bonus for the session. Aha. So hang on to that unless you absolutely need it. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and move into our game session. Oh, we should introduce our players, shouldn't we? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah, why don't you go first, Alethana?
It's Alfana, she, her pronouns. I play with Laya, a wizard that has a new lease on life and is trying to figure out how all of this military stuff works.
Okay. Whoever wants to go next.
I'll go. I'm Lee. I play Ben, druid, who really is this close to turning into a giant eagle and getting out of here.
Okay.
I'm V. I am playing Eliana Ver Jezebel, who is ready to just fight her way out, I guess, with the way things are going.
Okay.
I'm Apostate. I am playing Lillian Corbett, who is a quartermaster who is so tired of mysteries and secrets being revealed about her fellow soldiers in this battalion.
How did you fall into the one battalion with so many secrets and mysteries?
It almost feels earned, but at the same time, it's not funny if everybody does it, guys. Come on.
Alright, so that's everybody. We also have the player for Mordecai, that's Darrow. He's not here today at the moment. He may be able to jump in later, he may not. Really depends on how his evening is going. So with all that said, we'll go ahead and get started. Last we left off, mysteries and reveals abounds as Traxia indicated to Mordecai that there was a traitor in the midst of the battalion all along. And that traitor had disappeared from your ranks recently and has not been seen since. It is the middle of the night, so none of you have really gotten a long rest in yet. And you have searched the camp for this individual, and they are nowhere to be found. So let me go ahead and open up on the camp. And that should be where we're at right now. If you're wondering why it's in grayscale, if you're watching, it's because we have the overlapping dark vision of several different characters in here that can see things. So it's showing you what they can see, and it's showing you what they can hear. So with that all said, I'm going to unpause the game, and the scene is yours, everyone. Don't mind me while I adjust the music.
So I'm also trying to remember, we've searched the camp, no sign of him, presumably. But as far as we know, the last time anyone saw him was before we came through the mountain, right?
Correct.
Did we even see him while we were in the while we were in the temple? I mean,
No, you hadn't seen him in either of those two places, inside the mountain and the path to the temple, or in the temple itself. And no one has reported such. I do believe we covered those couple of questions the last session. So up front, no one's seen him since before you guys entered the mountains. No one has seen him since the temple either.
so for all we know, he could be on the other side of the mountain range.
Possible.
I guess all I'm getting at is the likelihood of us finding a trace of him here in this camp is pretty low. So we can expect that if he's a traitor, he's at least taken that information to someone. Atraxia, at least from what Mordecai told us, didn't seem to intimate who he was betraying us to, right? Just that he was in fact a traitor.
Correct.
Is a pretty limited number of people it could be betraying us to, but
Sure.
There are two that come to mind.
I guess what I'm getting at is, do we think our directive right now is to get our people into the city so that we can portal them through. is running around in the woods trying to find this kid. I guess what I'm getting at is do we think the likelihood of him being able to run to somebody who would be able to cut us off at the pass is high enough to warrant searching?
All due respect, Lieutenant, absolutely yes. Everything we've discussed, every strategy we've just came up with is now compromised until he has been dealt with.
Well, I mean, if he hasn't been seen since we even entered the temple, who's to say he was even here long enough to gather that information from us?
I don't sleep too well at night betting on odds like that.
I'm not saying you should, but it's just a possibility that we could hunt for him and find nothing, and we could spend our time hunting for him, and he could manage to have evaded us and got to the one of the friendly leaders of the two demon forces outside of Helkorth.
He warrants
Running around.
at the very least, he warrants an immediate search right now to see if we can head this off before it gets worse.
In which case, with the Lieutenant's permission, I'll start sending out a search party.
Before you do that, is there any way, both of you are better at magic than I am, is there any way we can tell that the rest of the folks here are who they say they are? Like, is there a possibility with some of the things that we've seen in the magic that we've been up against, is there a possibility that somebody here is not who they say they are?
I can.
Like, is that a completely out of left field concern, or does that even hold water?
I can put if any of our folk are. I can simply start scanning for magic. If any of our folk are under any kind of enchantment or illusion spells, I'll be able to tell.
Do that first, and then search party.
Well, I wasn't going to commit any of our soldiers to the search party.
Just a lot of us then? Or
No.
Eagles?
Ben gestures to the staff.
Ah.
I'm thinking something with a better sense of smell than the rest of us.
Tracks with me.
And it is nighttime. I wouldn't mind lending the aid of our friendly owl here to your searching, if that would be helpful.
Indeed. In which case... Sorry, if I recall, did we find any of his belongings? Or just a trace of his scent anywhere?
I would imagine we'd have to check the captain's tent for that specifically.
I think that's what Mordecai was doing, but I don't remember what his results were.
I do not either.
You guys haven't found anything in the camp that belongs to him. So it's sort of like he disappeared sometime between you guys finding the entrance to the mountain passage and you guys entering the temple. He hasn't been seen since, so you know his stuff definitely isn't here.
Okay. I'd say... Let me just do the... Ben's looking at beast math for a second.
Okay. I believe I updated your staff. I can't recall if I did or not.
I do see a new thing, however, it does not have a description. The new spell is in my... I see the new features on the staff.
Yeah.
And it mentions the spell. The spell's in my spell list, but the spell doesn't have a description.
Oh, oopsie. Hold on.
That's all right.
Hold on. Does it have the functionalities that I left it with? Hold on. It does have the functions still, I think. Yes, it still has its functions. It just I didn't save the description is what happened.
Yeah.
But it still works. It's a 15-foot cylinder attack. You can cast it out to 60 feet. It deals it's an instantaneous. It deals 48 bludgeoning, 48 cold. Increases dice by 1 every level you upcast it, and the DC is 8 plus mod plus proficiency. It's a dexterity saving throw.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like that's a cool ability.
It's a spell. It's a Valgast spell. Yeah. To get back on topic, you guys believe you could go over everybody, see if they're enchanted or if there's some kind of illusion cast over them. You know, you guys have those spells in your repertoire, I believe, like detect magic and that sort of thing, dispel magic if you needed to cut.
Detect evil and good to just detect the presence of demons.
Yeah, that would work too. If there's any demons masquerading amongst the camp. And then you guys know that you could send animals, your woodland creatures of sorts, out into the wild to see if they can track them down. But logically speaking, since you guys have kind of circled this for more than a minute, there would be no trail to pick up here. You would have to backtrack to find him.
Mm-hmm.
From what you guys understand from talking with the rest of the troops, of no one's seen him since the last time since you guys were on the other side of the mountain range, and that would be days out of your way when you're pretty close to your objective. If you guys think that if you presented that course of action to the captain, she would reject it immediately.
I think the best thing to do is check the camp. So our people and family of refugees that are here. We can't. There's no trail to pick up on, but we can at least do a scan of the perimeter of some of the flying beasties. See, I don't know, a couple of miles out, just to make sure that there's nothing obvious that we're missing.
I think that so that's what Ben was going to suggest, which would be I can send 8 bats out from us in a spiral, each sort of tracking. They can cover about actually owls might be better. Yeah, owls are faster, and they still have the excellent dark vision and better perception scores. So I send 8 owls out. They travel outwards in a spiral. They'll be able to make 6 miles out and then report back.
That'll have to do.
If they spot anything, then I'll ask what they said. I'll ask what they saw. I'll tell them. I'll be using speak with animals to communicate, looking for the description of this young tiefling, the horns, the red skin, that kind of stuff. But then also generally, just using it as a scouting opportunity. Any demons, anything like that.
You want me to drop into a spot in your spiral so you can make it a little bit tighter?
Certainly.
Because in my case, I can actually share senses, so I don't have to bother. Don't even have to deal with the speak with animals part of that.
Indeed.
Okay.
Let's go. We're burning moonlight.
Ben will sort of start gathering up clumps of river mud, spitting on them, and plucking little feathers out from a satchel to sort of have the crude approximation of feathers in each of the 8 little mounds, and then whack each of them on the head with the staff, and 8 owls sort of take silent flight up into the air.
Okay. The owls kind of do a formation, an arrow formation first, and then they do like a spinning set of circles, and then they go out into the sky a little bit, and then come back down and wait for instructions.
Ben's going to use Speak with Animals to say, all right, I'm looking for a tiefling. It's an individual, young, similar to, points to Sci-Fi, not her though, not the other one. Red skin, horns. Other than that, report back if you see any encampments, human or demon.
Not either of the two.
Yes, not either of the two.
Sure thing, boss. They all flap and fly away. One of them is a little surly looking, a little, you know, light on feathers. One of the smaller mounds you made, but he's flying all janky, kind of tilting to one side. And you kind of hear him going, "Oh no, 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 not that way."
And I have my owl fill in the empty slot and follow the same sort of pattern to try to avoid any gaps.
Okay. You guys are in a circular search pattern outside of this camp, looking for any signs of this individual and/or any enemy or friendly camps. Okay. I'll go ahead and I want Ben to roll me 5 d20s, and I want Alethana to roll me 1 d20. Mythlaya. Mythlaya? Mythalaya.
Mythlaya.
Mythlaya, I want you to roll me 1. And these are all owls, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so the best roll we have is the same for both of them. So that's a 22. I want you guys to roll me 2 more d20s, 1 each, and see if you guys crit. Otherwise, we'll take the 22. So basically, you would be rolling all of these at advantage, because owls have keen senses.
Keen senses.
Yeah. So, but we're doing this the quick way. All right, so 23 is the highest we're gonna get right now. So with 23, for both of you, let's see here. I think Find Familiar has a limit on the distance. So I just want to double check that real quick.
I believe the telepathy cuts out, but they can still travel and report back.
Yes. Within 100 feet, the telepathy is active. You can see through the familiar's eyes and hear what it hears until the start of your next turn, gaining the benefits of any special sense, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I believe that lasts only that distance. 100 feet's not really that far in terms of, sky. I think if we had to measure, yeah, okay. So 100 feet is like half of the board here. A little bit shy of half the board if you measure it from the edge. It's pretty close. So just that vertically would be the limit of where you would be able to see and hear through your owl's eyes. Not a problem, just saying that that's the limit of what you would experience, which isn't much. It's the immediate area in the vicinity of the camp, and you don't hear or see anything through their eyes in that immediate vicinity other than the actual camp itself and all of the denizens here.
Okay.
With that 22, it's high. It's high enough that you see basically everybody. There are just so many cones happening. What's going on over here?
I do not know why it's me. I will refresh.
No, it's okay. You're placing. It looks like you're placing AOE's.
Yeah, I do not know why I opened that control. Apologies.
It's okay. I think you were under measurement controls, and really they shouldn't call that measurement controls. They should call it templates, because
Yep.
what you're looking for is the token controls and then measure distance.
Yeah, Foundry got me again.
Foundry got you again. Yeah. So back to what you guys were seeing with your owls and stuff. After about an hour and a half, so we're pushing about it's like 1:30 in the morning. The owls return, and they do report back some information. Your familiar Mythlia indicates that there has been routine. There seems to have been like a flight of the Ruscivores go over the mountains, and looks like they are scouring the highlands up there. Perhaps looking for you in specific.
Would that be north or south of us?
That would be fairly close, northeast of you. You guys are pretty much on the edge of those highlands. You're pretty high up still. You're like at the mouth of the river. These are, there's switchbacks and forest below you, and then it empties out onto the plain. But you're still pretty high up. So you're inside of that patrol zone. But you guys haven't been noticed yet.
Right.
The other owls confirm that information, that there are these, and this is a big mountain range. It's not small by any means, right? It's many miles across in both directions. One hex by itself is like 30 miles, so big spaces. The other owls have indicated that there are no friendly encampments nearby. There's a lot of wild land around you. And that's from an hour's worth of flight. And it's their report.
And I'll return to the others and basically say, it'd be best if we kill all the lights now. Or at least as many as we possibly can. There's Ruscivores going up and down this mountain range looking for us. We'll need to make sure someone's keeping an eye on the bridge so that nobody falls in the water, but we do not want to be spotted. Unfortunately, no sign of any errant tieflings.
Don't have any friendlies either.
What's a tiefling?
There. No sign of
In
any
fairness.
errant little devil children.
Devil children. See here, you devil child.
Mythlia kind of playfully punches you in the shoulder. Who are you calling a devil child?
That's the case. We shouldn't stay here long past light.
No. Everyone get as much sleep as you can. Gotta move quickly. And try and preserve our profile while moving through the wilderness. The divination more or less said best chance is cutting through that triangle across the wilds, avoiding the roads entirely.
When's sunup? Do we know?
Well, you could do a nature check to see what's going on
Yeah,
right now.
I'll do a nature check. Screw it.
Screw it. Let's do it. Let's roll. We have this world has 3 different moons. It has a white and a blue and a red. They each are named differently: Titanicus, Aquaticus, and Malchius. Each one, that's their names in order: white, blue, red. Each of them are in a crescent phase. The Titanicus is in a waxing crescent, and the other 2 are waning crescents. So go ahead and give me a nature check to see if you can discern the time based on the moon's positions and such.
So close.
15. It's deep in the night, and it is you've perhaps kind of gone over the morning line, and it's probably like the next day already.
So we've got like 4 hours at best.
Yeah, you guys definitely got like 4 hours in. If you go to bed and go back to sleep, you'll be able to get a long rest in by the end of the night.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Ben, before we do that, do you mind checking the camp out?
Yes, Ben will. I guess I'll go for. Can anybody do? If Mythli can do detect magic, I can do detect good and evil.
That works. I think I have. I think I actually have both of those.
So
I have
yeah,
both
one of
of
us casts one of us casts the other, and we
Yep.
just sort of do a quick jog around the camp, see if anything gets pinged.
Yep.
Okay. So as you guys go through, the only alarm bells from the camp are definitely coming from like the immediate vicinity around Mordecai. It's not coming from him. It's sort of like it's not an aura coming off of him or anything like that, but there is like a presence in the space that occasionally is near him. But he's real like, well, you all know what that's about. But everybody else seems to not be setting off any detect good and evil vibes. And aside from any of the magical items that various people are carrying, there is no magic going on.
All right.
Sleep it is.
Okay, you guys want to bed down again?
Yep.
Okay.
Not else to do.
Now the question is, I just remembered the thing. Did you remember to upgrade our squads between last time and this time?
I think I did. I think so. We'll find out. Go ahead and hit the long rest key on your character sheets.
Is that under the downtime tab?
No, that'll be under like where your hit dice are. There's a S rest and an L rest button.
So I see.
If it, or it's the tent at the top of the sheet, depending upon what
Beautiful.
which feed variety you're in.
Thank you.
You just reset Cypher Shy's spells. There we go. And her hit points. Very good for her. There we go. Shogun's hit points. And I'll roll the long rest for Mordecai. Double check Crow. Okay, Crow's good. All right. Let me see. think. Let me just check something real quick here. You have 2 ranged infantry and 2 medics and 1 light infantry. Ben, what's your squad breakdown?
Yeah, it's 2 range, 2 medics, 1 heavy infantry.
1 heavy. Did not know one of them was heavy. Okay, so 2 range. Okay. So yours is definitely wrong because those are different hit point values for those. Eliana's heavy infantry squad. Let me just double check and make sure that information is correct. I have you as heavy infantry veterans, and you need to be heavy infantry elites. So that's 9 by 5. Gotta fix that. Is it raining near somebody right now? Because it sounds like it.
Oh, someone someone in the complex is walking their dogs.
Mm.
So there were dogs in the background.
Eliana, what's your tens digit of your hit points?
The tens digit is 7.
Okay. So 9 by 5 plus the 7 for temp. Okay. I think that's how we were doing that. So 40, 45, 45. I can fix that real quick. It doesn't look like it's saved if I did do it, so that's okay. I can do a real quick upgrade here. So, doot, doot, doot. Heavy infantry elite squad. Plate. There we go. Cool. Movement speed is 25 feet, but their move hacks is 2. 1d4 plus 3 charge. Yes. Okay. Great. I'll have to fiddle with yours at a different point there, Ben. Okay, you guys do wake up. Go ahead and role play while I go figure this stuff out. Quick.
Sorry, I didn't remind you of that in the time we had off.
It's all right. It's not your job.
Ben's gonna go look for Lillian.
Okay.
Yeah, Lillian's not had the most easy of nights. She's just around checking our work, making sure that everything's still being prepared.
I'm gonna start setting up the floating discs so we can have people working while we're moving. I'm wondering, do we have any canvas? I suppose we could make sort of small tents and then a little bit of druidcraft, a little bit of pass without trace that'll look like a bunch of grass to anyone from 300 feet in the air.
Sounds fine. Sensible.
I know that was building tents. I taught us that. I know how to build a tent.
Indeed. I'll be directing my squad to help sort of with setting up all of the tents. Over every time I finish a floating disc, I'll set up a tent over it, and then
Then
I didn't quite catch that, D. It could be just it's not picking up well.
it's probably
Yeah.
me and Josh talk. Don't worry about it. I'm just following Ben. That's all.
Okay.
D has gotten kind of quieter and quieter as the evening has went on.
That's strange. Okay, I'll look at that.
so Lieutenant, you I don't really know what I was gonna ask. I feel like you're supposed to ask stuff while you're doing busy work before some harrowing trial.
What do you want to know?
You said something to Mordecai. I'm from 3 hours outside of the middle of nowhere, so I don't actually know. But your family, they're important, are they?
I'm one of the Jezebels. So the whole family is well, magical line. And then there's me.
The Jezebels, they get along with the Farlotas?
Who are the Farlotas? Out of character?
The Farlotas are a family. They're like yours. They're a noble family. They've been around since the founding of Corinth. So imagine a very old line noble house, like many of the northern houses and some of the southern houses, like Corvaxia. They are druids mostly, though magic is a bloodline hereditary thing. So not all of their members are magical. Not all of them are druids of any particular kind or focus. Some of them are just regular people who swing a sword, which is very much like your family. Because there's quite a few people in your bloodline that have no magical talent whatsoever, like yourself. But there are those in the bloodline that have incredible talents. The difference between the Farlotas and a lot of the other magical families in the nation is that they kind of have a monopoly on druidic magic. They claim, and they have a legal precedent to, being the founders of druidism amongst humanity. And so they will seek legal action against anyone who is attempting to spread druidism outside of their influence, and they have done so quite successfully. So that's what you would know about them, that they're litigious and they're druids and they're a family much like yours.
Yeah. And I suppose I would know enough to know that Ben's druidism is a little bit strange in light of that history of the Ferodas.
Yeah, he's to put not too fine a point on it, like he just said, he's some hick from out of the middle of nowhere. So, definitely not a relative of theirs, most likely, though where he lives is somewhat close by like 400 miles ish or so. Maybe like 250. Really depends on what path you take. But there's likely no relation there. So but he's also half elf, so he likely gets his powers from his mother's side.
Right.
So does that answer your question? I kind of lost track what your question was.
No, it's super track. So I think when Ben asks that, Eliana just laughs and she goes, we get along the way most loyal families or most noble families do, which is, and it's all politics, right? So, you and I out here, you don't have anything to worry about from me.
I wasn't exactly worried about you in particular. Just curious. I've already got a meeting with Commander Morenas, provided they're alive, at the end of this waiting for me, so. Though having a friend among the Jezebels might not be a bad idea.
I don't have a lot of sway, but what's the meeting about?
Oh, the fact that I was recruited into the military as a medic, non-magical one. Hence, to some, it would appear as though I've lied about my magical talents that, according to the Farlotas, should not be.
I entered into the military about as soon as I knew that academia and magical talent was never going to stick. So I don't know how much sway I have as one of the Jezebels, but as the lieutenant who's worked with you the last couple of days and probably the days to come, I'm happy to vouch for you like that.
I appreciate it, Lieutenant. I do find it funny that they think they originated the kind, possibly the oldest kind of magic in existence.
I mean, I think it's the sort of thing that it's the sort of falsehood that gets passed down for so long that folks forget where it came from in the first place.
All right, let's get the tent building. And yeah, we'll move on to just sort of basically as soon as the final disc is up, we want to time it so that we're leaving immediately to maximize the duration of the discs.
Right. Let me just fix your features here. There we go. Okay. Great. Okay, so you guys have spent quite a few points to upgrade your squads, and you wanted to spend some points also to distribute some weaponry and stuff. We're going to go ahead and move over to the overworld map, because that's where this next series of scenes takes place. So
I think you would at least calculate how many supply points would have left last time. I don't know if you updated them or not, but I know you at least computed how many supply points we were spending versus how many we had versus how many we needed to keep feeding everyone.
yeah, so according to my calculation there, the current value 24 is correct.
Right. Because we're likely gonna be eating good berries for the next couple nights if I can spare the spell slots.
Who's missing a hit point? Oh, it's the captain. Yeah, your good berries take care of a few individuals, right? But not.
It's the 5 a day, right? If I spend.
It's not a leveled. It's a. Is it a leveled spell or no?
Yeah, it is a leveled spell.
How many do you get?
I get basically I get 10 per cast. So if I spend all my first levels, like we get 40, and we can cover the battalion.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that does negate the supply points that you would your natural attrition rate. Yeah.
And so yeah, which is basically Ben is trying to further extend that to the idea of like we're not doing cooking fires, we're not doing we're not ranging too far to find food. We're keeping moving as quickly as possible. Everybody's like fed within a single bite. We're not wasting any time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll morale. Yeah. Not
What,
that-
people don't like the berries?
It's not that they
They're
don't.
delicious.
It's not that they don't like the berries. The complaint turns out to be, oh my god, these fucking berries again. But we'll see how many days we need to traverse. Now, I believe you were going to head straight for Helkorth, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Cutting that triangle.
Yes. It's about 120-ish miles to Helkorth. You can see where the enemy is arrayed right now. Let me just go ahead and zoom on in over here.
Or at least where they were arrayed when last we had any news.
Correct. And yeah, the I know the icon's pretty big on the map there. The city does not take up all of that space. It takes up like these 3 hexes here. So let me just do this guy. Nope. Is there any way I can do a... Yeah.
Okay, 120.
Yeah, about 120 miles. It's a big city. So, you will be able to, as we move across the map, choose which hex you move into. Okay? If you do not want to choose a hex, if you want to randomly move a hex, you may, of course, do that, but you can only move into an adjacent hex. If you were trying to choose a specific direction, south, for example, which would be towards this hex, you would have to flip a coin, and that would take you to either this one or this one. Right? Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So because we're using hex rules, you cannot move in a straight line. You have to move into a hex. And that will take you either horizontally straight or downwards at an angle, or upwards at an angle. So, go ahead and let me know which one you guys want to move in, if you can have a consensus, or if you don't feel it matters at this point. We can flip.
Dragon Divination said we want to
Yeah.
cross the river as early as possible, so I'm thinking this one. Especially while we have the benefit of the discs, because then most of our folk don't actually even have to cross the river. We can just have a few people walk
Yep.
across on ice bridges, dragging the rest of the battalion behind them.
That tracks with me.
Yep, that sounds like what we had previously decided last session.
Yeah, so I think we go to the one to the southwest.
Okay. To the southwest we go. Okay. Now, if you're trying to move on a southerly course, you have 3 options.
I'd say west here is faster. Well, not exactly. I think it is about the same.
West gives you a little bit of the mountains still behind you, at least. I don't know if that gives you any more cover or not.
I think west for now is fine because it keeps us away from all the guys to the south.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you guys have access to be able to move the token. Okay. Here, or do you want to go west again? Oh, by the way, that's a day. So now we're on the 20th.
Okay.
Wheel. Do we get? Can we like if we are in fact making camp? Can we roll for downtime this at the end of this evening?
Absolutely, yes.
Sweet.
Lovely. What am I trying to do?
What are you trying to do?
Actually, I was wondering, there's a specific poison I'd like to try and make if I can access the ingredients.
Sure. What is that you're trying to make?
I am trying to make, well, it uses a D&D 5e monster as its source, so I don't know if there's a...
Purple worm poison?
No.
Oh, okay.
Roll 10 is not working. But it's the carrion crawler mucus.
Ah, okay. Big bug, right?
Yes. I suppose, like, well, if there's large scores of dead around here. But, yeah.
Okay.
Or, I guess, if you would be willing to... I'm looking to make a paralytic poison.
Ah, I see. That's the objective, okay?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, there are plenty of plants you can forage for that would be able to do the job.
Okay. In which case, I will, like, just because I'm not trying to take us out of the way at all, I will use locate plants from the staff to... Is it in the staff? Or... Either way, I have the spell. Yeah, locate animals or plants. To basically, like, as we're moving along, I will activate it to see if there's something, if the plant I need is in the area.
Sure. Go ahead and I need you to roll a Arcana check just for, like, I need you to roll a d20. Just a d20.
Just a straight d20? Okay.
Yeah, this is just, I'm going to make this just a straight luck so that we can see if there is something in the area. Okay.
15.
15. You find a small group of parish caps, which are little mushrooms, extremely poisonous, that you're aware of. And it is a primary ingredient in some of the more horrific poisons that pervade the criminal underworld of Krunt. So I'm going to go ahead and drop one of those in your inventory.
Lovely.
Yep.
At this point, can I make a roll to try and make a paralytic poison, or would I have to gather more ingredients?
You would be able to use some supply points at this point to make a paralytic.
Okay. I would like to, if everyone's okay with me using a supply point, I would like to start making some doses of paralytics that we can apply to arrows.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you doing this for? Yeah, that totally tracks.
Very clever.
Do you have a poisoner's kit?
I do.
Okay. Where the hell's your poisoner's kit? Oh, it might be in the group inventory.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Or wait, did I? No, I put it... Yeah, it's there.
Okay, so to make this enhancement, we are going to need to take a look here. Are you proficient?
I am, but I'm considered a novice.
Okay.
Like out of rules wise, I have the proficiency, like Cruinth crafting rules, we haven't done a lot of crafting, so I'm still considered a novice.
Yes, so you are a novice. Okay. Your DC for normal quality poison made from the parish caps is 10 to 14. But because parish caps are a difficult and extremely poisonous material, if you roll lower than a 10, you will suffer the parish caps effects yourself.
I see. Okay.
It is basically anything less than a 10 is a catastrophic failure on this reagent.
Rough but fair. I'll be juicing myself with enhanceability and guidance.
Juice yourself with as much crap as you need, because a natural one will fuck you.
No.
26. Okay. I think you saw the 5D and you were like, no!
I did. I was like, oh my god.
Okay, so this is turns out it's a high quality parish cap poison. So you'll be able to apply this to some arrows. What we're dancing with here is a material that makes you make 3 Constitution saving throws. The first effect is paralysis, which is a continuous save once per round at the end of the victim's turn. 46 poison damage, and the poison condition on save half damage, and no condition on failure to save all damage condition, and then 46 acid damage, which is continuous until save once per round at the beginning of the victim's turn. So the ones that if you have to fail one, the second one is the one you want to fail. But the other 3, yeah, the other 2 are rough. So.
All right. I guess how many doses am I able to make?
Let's see. You won't be able to make enough doses for the entire battalion.
That's fair.
Yeah, you'll be able to make enough doses for, I would say, 1 volley from a ranged ranger, or from a ranged infantry squad, like an archer squad, or you can make like enough arrows for like a standard encounter combat for the encounter.
Right.
So one or the other. You don't have to choose now.
Yeah, okay.
If we run into a standard size encounter on the way to Helkorth, that would be the one that you would have the arrows prepared for. Or you can say, I would rather not use them and save them for a large scale encounter.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Sorry for taking a bunch of time, but yes, we have some tech.
Okay. I would like you to, while we've talked about this, I'd like you to put that in your inventory, what we've just discussed, so you have it in there. So because I'm liable to forget, I'm trying to keep the game moving. So
we'll do.
This is me delegating a little bit of my DM responsibility off on the rest of the players, because I have found that my memory is fucking shit, and I can't remember everything anymore. So be prepared to be saddled with some very light responsibility. Okay. Anyone else want to do anything for downtime for this day, the 20th?
I'd like to roll for Sentinel.
There you go. That's a thing.
So close.
22. Very nice.
I know we were trying to figure out what to do with my my downtime thing, since I still have no downtime tab. And
right. Let me finish a thought real quick, and then we'll circle to you. So, Eliana, did you click on the item in the downtime tab for that?
I did, yes.
Okay, so it's automatically accrued then. Great. So
Correct, yes.
42 out of 300. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, you're starting to get the basics of blocking people when they're trying to get out of your space. And the captain's assisting you with that. You guys are doing some light sparring since you're both pole arm users.
I like to think that it's a little bit of hurting the discs too. I think that's pretty funny, but that works for me.
I was kind of imagining. Have you ever seen that TV show American Gladiators from back in the day?
I have not, no.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. At least somebody knows what I'm talking about. Basically, like, it's this show, and they would like get up on these little platforms, and they would fight each other with these giant Q-tips, basically, and not try to knock each other into like this big foam pit kind of deal. Anyway, the show was rife with issues and you know, problems, but it was very funny to watch as a kid back in the day. But that's what I was imagining. But like disc hockey with your pole arms kind of is an interesting move too. I like that as well.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah, a little bit of both. That's good. So, to circle back to you, Mythlia, because let me just pull up Praxia's old sheet here.
Yeah.
There she is. Okay, so Praxia had 96 points already accrued, so you can give a downtime activity those 96 points.
Okay.
Why don't you have a tab at all? Is it your type of character sheet? It is.
Okay. I can swap it back. It's no big deal.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so I guess the question would be does remarkable recovery exist as a feat in Valgast?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm gonna say new. Where is that from?
It's one of those Matt Mercer ones.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm unfamiliar with it.
Okay. Then I should resilient exist in this world. All right.
That's in the standard book, in the standard player's
Yep.
handbook. So yes, it does.
Okay.
Do you want to
So could I be working on that? And then once I get that added, I believe that I'm owed a couple of rolls from last session while we were trying to figure out. We hadn't figured out yet what to take.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple rolls, and then you can have one for today. So
Yep.
let me just.
I'm still changing my sheet back to.
Yeah, I need you to change it back either to the default or to the other one.
There we go.
Okay. Which category for resilient are you doing?
I'm doing resilient. We are increasing con.
Constitution. Okay.
Because that'll give me the 18 con, that'll give me the extra hit points, and also give me proficiency in con saving throws.
All right. So this is a con. 300 is the target. You have 96 already. All right. Save. Okay.
I can roll.
Make three rolls.
1, 2, 3. Yay.
Okay. Just want to make sure that added in right. Yep. Okay. Good. All right. Lillian. Anything you want to work on? I know you're doing a lot of the crafting.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I am doing a lot of the crafting. Would that take up any of my downtime?
it would take up your downtime, but would also count towards increasing those kinds of skills.
Yeah. So you know what? I'll stick with that. And I guess my time here is for the crafting. It's focusing on simple construction, um, some potion making, and some enchanting. So which of those skills would I be able to increase, if any?
Well, let's see here. You have alchemist supplies. That would be the easiest route because you already have the proficiency in that section. Your
Okay.
most quartermasters, they're just supply clerks, basically moving the stuff from one space to the other, keeping track of where the supplies go, make sure that you have enough supplies for whatever mission you're on, that sort of thing. Um, Most quartermasters aren't actually doing any actual crafting. Your battalion has supplies. You have a supply of equipment. You have a supply of potions. That's what the supply points represent. You just need to spend them to be able to get the stuff for it. So it's a trade there.
Mm-hmm.
So no actual crafting going on for you. However, if you want that to be what you're doing, you can move towards earning a proficiency that you don't already have. Or you can
I
increase
see.
your
Okay.
skill in alchemy that you do have already. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. I guess the two that I would want would be either enchanting or to get even better at alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that I will end up doing a lot more potion making.
Okay.
So I think if I could somehow put this towards enchanting, I think that would be the better call here.
Okay. You are not a natural born spellcaster.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have spells. So you
No.
don't necessarily have the ability to enchant currently.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of why we spent a lot of time discussing the logistics of Mithlaya or Ben or Cyphishai doing the enchanting for you while you procure and figure out what equipment was necessary. We can see to find out if you. We can see to find out. We can find out if your character does have a latent magical ability to be able to do this. You would basically need to have a score that is over a multi-class, or that would qualify you into a multi-class. You do not have to take a multi-class.
I see.
But you need to have the score to be able to do it, and then we can say whether or not your character has that inborn ability. Just because you're a Caconite and you can wolf out doesn't mean you have a spellcasting bloodline.
True.
So, do you want that for your character, yes or no?
Yes, I think I do.
Okay. Now, you don't have activated magical senses or activated magical abilities, but you do have the latent power to do so. If you were to start going down this path, you would be awakening those powers outside of spending your level up on such a thing. The quick way would be to spend your level up. The slow way is to wake up your powers. It's a much lower threshold, but it would take you some downtime to do so. Of course,
I think that's the way I'll do that.
Okay. You have several mages that can help you. Unfortunately, both of them have already, both of the player ones have already committed their downtime, so you'd have to convince Cyphishai to help you. So let me just create a category for you. Like a fucking spell. Awakening, as in definitely not something else that could go into that category. We're talking arcane awakening.
Not like awakening.
Not anything else. Alright, so it's a fixed value. We're gonna call it 125, which is half proficiency, right? This is a ability check. So what is the ability that you're going to rely on?
I think intelligence. It is the highest casting stat that I have.
Okay. Just full disclosure,
Mhm.
and this may change your decision. If you were to multi-class into a casting job class later, it would have to be intelligence based if you do it this way.
I think that fits best. I think if we look based on what I know about the world and based on stuff that you and I have gone over and will continue to flesh out in the future, Lillian was chosen for probably natural resistance, personal motivation, and a proficiency with like lore for what she was chosen for. But I think that if she is to gain any I think also the process that she went through. I think that not maybe stunted isn't the right word, but altered her ability to awaken to something inborn, like a sort of a druid style of magic or a sorcerer style of magic. But I think she's stubborn and clever. So I think that her way of embracing magic or finding a way to use it, and I definitely think if anything, she's more of an enchantment caster or a rune caster than she ever would be like a fireball thrower, right? I think that would come from something based on her intelligence, on her way to watch or to learn from people like Sci-Fi or Ben or anybody who's working on the sorts of things that she finds herself needing to make and seeing the tricks that she can pick up on and learning to put that together with actual magical ability instead of just sort of manifesting something spontaneous, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Okay. So intelligence it is. This is a normal d20 roll, so how this works with the downtime tab, and I'm sure you've heard me say it before, you go over to your downtime tab, you click on the symbol like you would any other roll to make your roll. And Sci-Fi will help you with this this night, because she doesn't really have anything else on her agenda. She's a teenager. What else is she going to do?
That's fair.
But besides the Shogun,
What else is she going to do? So she will help you with this. So you may roll this check at advantage.
Yeah. And am I rolling this? Is this a private GM roll? Is this a public roll, or am I looking at the wrong thing?
You can just do a public roll.
Okay.
and Lillian should get a couple from last session as well, right?
820.
No, they were focused on. They focused their downtime on organizing things.
Yeah.
Okay. Organizing is important.
Okay, so 13. Get you 10% of the way there. Okay. Alright, so that's Ben, that's Mythlia, that's Lillian, and that's Eliana. Okay. Let me just check Mordecai's sheet, see if he has anything on there. Ooh, he does. Okay. Sanity throws are always saving throws. Honestly, not terrible for him.
And theoretically, this would have been a day worth of collecting supply points, right, for them.
Yes. So I will roll that as well. But he spent his downtime trying to recover his grip on reality.
That boy has a -3 sanity.
He has been failing his saving throws this entire campaign. That poor man has failed more sanity saving throws than I have ever seen.
I mean, after all, he does have his demon mama, so that probably has something to do with it.
Has a lot to do with it. Okay, for Forge for Supplies, you guys are on the edge of the mountain here, so you get some +3 for having an elite group and mountain.
Really funny quick aside, CJ. Is
D6.
there a Valgast custom spellcaster who casts based on sanity?
No, but that's really funny. We had back in the day we had a spellcaster group that fit that bill, but it does not translate well into 5e because we used a magic point system where you had like an actual amount of mana or MP to use. And instead of burning MP, your character would burn hit points to cast their spells. So it, depend and for this particular caster type. So which we all regarded as quite insane. You'd have to be insane to be that kind of caster. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, but we don't have that here in the 5e version of things.
Don't give apostate ideas. Don't promise them a fun time.
I'm just saying, I think that my next follow-up is going to be, I think that class, not only should it exist, but it should be exclusively Mordecai's casting ability.
Oh,
But
But you need it's the lower your sanity score is, the higher your spell save DC is.
Yes.
it would have to be the inverse property, yeah.
yeah. There are in the PHB rules for spell points as compared to spell slots.
There are, yes, but we functioned off like this particular spell costs 35 MP or 220 MP rather than 2 spell points. We're talking like a full value. I mean, it was a 2,000 hit point system where if you had full vitality, you had 2,000 hit points, right? So it was a very different system than anything like I've played outside of it. So that's brings us back to the world here. Good question, really funny aside. We're in the next day on the 20th. Which way do you guys want to go?
I think south,
It's one of these two.
southwest,
That one. Okay. It's one.
unless anyone disagrees.
That's probably the shortest.
It's about equal with this one, but like if we're trying to, we're following the path of the dragon. And then I'd say we'd go west the next time.
Do you think?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to be within 60 mile or 45 miles of the Blade of Endless Suffering there? You sure?
Oh no, that's right. That's correct. No, Lee is correct.
Yes, we want to go west. West is the idea here.
Okay. That's one more day. So
All right.
this will take you to the 21st. So this is where you will camp for the night.
Now, then, should we be doing any kind of scouting, anything, say, with our woodland creatures to get some idea if the arrangement of the enemies has maybe shifted any since the last intelligence that we gathered?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That is probably a worth a shot. I think I'll use Wild Companion for that. The other thing I'd want to do, now that we're within 60 miles of Helkorth, is I want to send an animal messenger, and I want to speak to the captain about just sort of, like, given the speed of an owl animal messenger, we should be able to get a response by morning.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I'll mention it to the captain and say, is there we're within range where I can get a message back by morning. Is there something? What should we say? What should we ask?
Okay, we're gonna report in 14th Bay Nights. We're gonna give our location, which is where we are on the map here. She points to from her tent, and you guys have just to kind of set the scene a little bit. You're in her tent, which has enough standing room, but you're kneeling in front of a small table. And she's got a little hooded lantern hanging from the cross pole at the top. and she's pointing on the map where you guys are, and she's pointing at where she thinks the enemy positions are, which is here. She says, we want to convey where we are, our strength, which is how many we have, how many people we are bringing, how many we have of fighting ability, and our liability, which is how many people we have that are not able to fight, and our supply level and disposition. Okay?
In which case, I guess if there's a like a shorthand, military writing shorthand that the captain knows to convey that in 25 words, Ben will record it down.
Okay.
And I want to be specific in using my familiar for this purpose, so that if they are intercepted, they will wink out of existence.
Sure.
It means I won't be having be able to use Wild Companion until the morning if something happens, but I do want to make sure that that's just the gist.
Okay. Yeah, so she gives you a note of what the shorthand is, so that you can read that off to your familiar, pass that information off, and take flight. I'm going to need a dexterity check from your familiar, just for their maneuvering and their movement across the land. I believe you have a stat block, no?
Yes.
Where is that familiar ability? Hold on. Is it from your staff or is it from something else?
It's a druid class feature called Wild Companion.
Where is that?
Is it not in this one?
Wall shape improvement.
Maybe it's not added to the... It is the Find Familiar spell, basically. I think is perhaps why we don't have it here. But...
Yeah. Do you... Okay, hold on. Do you have... It might... I don't think this is an ability you have in 5e, question mark?
It's... Let me pull it up into... Because it might be because it's a SWAT, like one of the alternate druid features from Tasha's.
Yes, there it is. I see it. It is an alternate feature. It's a level 2 feature. Yeah. Okay.
I guess actually, wait, no, sorry. If I can't do what I want to do, I have to use the animal messenger spell because I can't. The Wild Companion won't last long enough now that I'm reading it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. In which case, yeah.
I don't think we built your character with that feature loadout anyway.
Fair.
Yeah. So
normal owl. Send it on its way.
If you wanted, you could send my owl instead.
It's okay. It's fine. We'll keep yours for scouting.
That would also take care of the message won't fall into enemy hands criteria.
It's all right. I think because the animal will not repeat it except to the individual that I designate, so it's fine.
But who are we designating?
That's the other question. I'll say I need a specific description of an individual to designate the delivery of this message to Captain.
Okay, she gives you a description of General Massini.
Okay.
Who is in charge of Helkorth's defense.
In which case, I will give that description and give it to the owl and send it off.
Okay. All right. Anything else for this evening?
Well, do we repeat the downtime and supply search thing, as well as did we decide if we're doing the same kind of scouting sort of thing to find out if the enemies are still where we think they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do everyone's downtime, and then we'll finish with the scouting.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go ahead and roll Mordecai's sanity recovery. Okay.
God damn. Okay.
Is that a natural one?
Yeah, it super is.
Oh, you poor thing. 13. 40.
And then, if I want to make more paralytic poison, I'd have to roll to see if there roll the regular d20 to see if there's any in the area first.
Yes.
Okay. 18.
Yeah, you could make another batch.
All right, I will
Same
do so.
rules apply. Let's see. Did you roll your checks from that part of the spreadsheet? From that part of your
Yes,
character
I've
sheet?
been rolling it through the downtime tab.
Just making sure Eliana did too.
I did.
You did. Mithlai, I'm sure did. Yes. Okay. And Lillian, if you would like to roll yours as well, you certainly may. Okay, 16. Yeah, you're good. You made another batch. So that's 2 volleys or 2 standard encounters.
Lovely.
And we need supply points.
Yeah, I was going to do that when Lillian was done. 15.
There we go.
Good guidance from Sci-Fi tonight. You definitely feel like you're getting the hang of, at the very least, the meditative part of this process. Feels very much like trying to keep your wolfed out form in check. Not that you're a wolf, you turn into more of a panther, I think. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it feels a little bit like that. You're kind of emptying your mind, you're kind of tapping in to the energy within. You're trying to see what that wellspring energy feels like. Today you kind of began to feel the ambient energy coming off of Sci-Fi, which is fairly strong. Which probably is helping you because it's like being in a room with a bright light bulb and trying to find the lights, right? Well, because there's a bright light bulb there, obviously the light's over there. You can see it. As opposed to if you were in a room with just a handful of small candles, you'd be able to find them, but the room would be much darker, and so it would be a little bit more difficult. I know it's very roundabout way of saying a more powerful mage makes it easier, but that's the truth of it. So, good progress. You're 22%.
Ooh.
And then from Mordecai, see if there's anything worth gathering. You guys are on a plane now, so that changes things a little bit. So, but not on the actual here. So, d6 plus 3. So, 9.
And then I forget, since we mentioned last time if I wanted to add to my Featherlight mail, how many supply points would that cost me or cost us?
Add Featherlight to your mail.
Sorry, Featherlight. So if I added an additional,
if you want to go up in enchantment level, for Featherlight, it would be taking you to an intermediate. The intermediate is of rare quality, and I believe the point costs go 1, 2, 3. I wrote this down somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. I think. Yeah, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. So it would cost you 3 supply points to bringing it up to intermediate.
And what would be the options as far as I could add?
Hmm?
So what would be the options there?
Do you mean like adding a different enchantment over the Featherlight? Or increasing the Featherlight's efficacy?
Well, I'm not now. Unless I'm going to carry lots more stuff, I don't have to worry about increasing the Featherlight's efficacy much. I don't think.
Okay. You could do a Thorns enchantment, or you could do a Reflecting imbuement. And those are the only two options for armor at the moment.
Okay,
Outside of
what's
Featherlight.
reflecting does what?
So Reflecting is mainly for weapons, but with hold on, let me go and check something real quick. Traits. This would be adding prismatic dampening, or yeah, this would be adding prismatic or dampening to your armor set, which would change something about it. Dampening the armor no longer imposes disadvantage on stealth rolls due to changing the way the armor works. That's more of a physical upgrade. And then prismatic, this armor has a measure of basic resistance to magic through its material composition, so you would be changing material compositions via magic. If you take magical damage from spellcraft, pack magic, or elemental magic damage from a weapon, that while this armor is equipped, that damage is reduced by 1 to 5, depending on the level of the enchantment.
Okay. So I ask my fellow friends here if we have the 3 supply points to spare. If I wanted to attempt to make my armor slightly better than it currently is, I'd be prismatic. Definitely sounds interesting.
What's our total right now, and what's our run rate?
So the burn rate is neutral because of Ben burning all the first level
Right.
slots. Mordecai just rolled a 9 for the supply point gain, and the prior roll was 7. And then we're doing an awful lot of.
We had 24.
Yes, you had 24. You used 1 for the potion, for the poison arrows. You used another one. So 22 plus 16 is 38. So you guys have more than enough supply points to start spending on stuff, which I really suggest you do.
Yeah.
And so I will add prismatic to that.
Okay.
And then I will ask, is there anybody else that wants modifications done to any of their stuff? I can make use of some of the apprenticing I did under our former quartermaster to attempt to improve other people's stuff as well.
I do need you to roll an Arcana check for me.
Arcana?
Yes. Because this one has a range of how good it is. Okay. So that'll take you to... +2. Because you would be a novice enchanter. Okay. So, magic damage is reduced by 2.
Okay. What's anybody else want anything improvified?
I might look to do some enchanting next rest. Unless, is there a time limit on this? Can we spend more skill points today to do some more enchanting?
You can do more. I mean, you guys have plenty of time. You had your plan of doing this kind of stuff on the discs, so the people doing the enchanting could do that. Cypher Shy can do that during the day while you guys are traveling. So, she has some bandwidth to do that as well. So I would utilize her as well. So yeah, you guys can get more enchantments on.
In which case, could I enchant my shield?
You could add prismatic to that, featherlight, or thorns.
What would thorns do?
Thorns would be if they touch you, you stab them back
Mhm.
for an elemental damage. It can only be an element that is within the repertoire of the enchanter. So as we're talking about Cyphishai, she
If you want somebody to put thorns on there, then I may be your go-to person for that. Given that I can replace any element in my repertoire with any other element.
okay, she has lightning and poison and cold
Right.
and arcane.
Right. I think I would like. I guess the other option I would like is it possible to do some of my own enchanting?
Yes.
I would specifically. I was wondering if I could make a moonsicle,
A moonsicle?
not a moon popsicle, but a moon sickle.
A sickle shaped like a moon?
Yes, it is. It's sort of like a druidic focusing device that enhances druidic magic and gives me a little bonus to healing.
Okay, so
If that's
you're looking for like a custom enchantment here. Gotcha.
yes,
Yes.
I can send you the. It's a standard item.
Sometimes I think we must spend free time just like rotary through the player's handbook and all of the accoutrement. Because I don't know where you found that.
I found it. It's in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything on page 133. When you cast a spell that restores hit points, you can roll a d4 and add the number of rolled to the blah 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 blah. What's the rarity on this bad boy?
It would be it's +1, +2, or +3 depending on basically what I'm capable of and how much resources it would take.
All right. Well, +3 is a very rare I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think very rare is just below legendary or art. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be 1, 2, 3, 6. That would be 6 supply points to get a +3 moonsicle.
Would everyone be fine with me spending those? I mean, we got to use them.
Do it.
Yep.
All right. In which case, I will do that.
Okay. Lee's reading the writing on the wall when I said you should spend these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Okay, so that's 6 points, and we just spent 3 on the other thing, so -6, and then -3. You guys are down to 29 points.
Anybody else want something?
What could I enchant my deadly glaive with?
Your deadly glaive is currently holding an enchantment, the deadly enchantment.
Right, because it's deadly.
Yep, because it's deadly. You could add... Holy crap. Sorry, hold on. Let me go check what that's about. Put us in intermission while you guys think.
Um,
we're back. Sorry, my dog decided to bay for the blood of mankind's enemies, I suppose. So we were talking about getting an item. You certainly can get this particular item, an animated shield for yourself, Eliana. It would be 6 points.
Yeah, I mean, we're at like 30 something, right?
29-ish.
Yeah, then 100%. Let's do it.
Burn, baby, burn.
Spend that beautiful cash. Okay, so this.
I'd say fair is fair. We could, if there's I guess a 6-point item that Lillian, Mordecai, and Mythlia want.
What cool 6-point items are there?
Anything that's very rare would be 6 points.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Let's see here. I'll just remind you of where your budget sits. You guys have 29 supply points left, or no, you had 29. You have 23.
Now we have 23.
You have 23 now. Save, you bastard. Okay. You can only do like 3 more items of that level.
Yeah. Mordecai doesn't use a bow. God damn it.
Yike.
Can he use a bow?
He has insisted he's not proficient.
That's so funny.
It's for
Okay.
flavor. He's insisted he's not proficient.
In which case, for flavor reasons, could I make a set of daggers, or enchant Mordecai's daggers with the effect of this? I've just sent it to you.
Okay, let me pull that guy up.
It's elf magic. It's my shit. I'll present it to him and be incredibly awkward about it.
Does it say XOXO Ben?
Okay, command phrase, say that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and if I'm applying it to the returning daggers.
Okay.
Okay, in which case, I suppose. Well, no, he's not here. He doesn't get to decide what cool item he gets.
If he wants to exchange it later, he will certainly be able to.
For sure.
Ring of Regeneration for Lillian could be funny, now that I'm looking at the list of very rare items.
That actually is something I'd be interested in.
You regain 1d6 hit points every 10 minutes, provided that you have at least 1 hit point. If you lose a body part, the ring causes the missing part to regrow and return to full functionality.
That's so fucking good, actually.
Are you expecting to lose body parts? Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a 6-point item.
What's the... Hold on. 1d8. Ooh, yeah, let's do a little bit of a bastard move here. Let's just bump that bad boy a little bit here as well. Okay. Is that your expenditure, Lillian?
I think so.
I think so, yeah, I think that's fair.
Sure thing. I just want to point out to Ben here, this is something you could have been doing all along.
Yeah, I know.
Like that, you guys had quite a few supply points before the Hydra fight, and then nothing happened, and you guys almost got bodied.
Yep.
So, okay. Just want to make sure that we're on the same page there. I never told you you couldn't.
As a DM, you have to savor getting one up on Lee.
It's not something that I aim to do. It's just something... It's not even a thing that happens, really. It's just There's no conflict here, is what I'm trying to say. There's no conflict between me and you guys as the DM versus the players. I don't think of it in that fashion, but I do enjoy when I've surprised you and or terrified you. That is fun. So...
No. You're no. Very, very professional. Very good. When I get one up on Lee, savor it. I understand.
So we're down to 17 supply points now. Oh wait, that's 2 items, right? So 6 and 6.
Yeah.
That we're down to 11. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're running low on the points.
Yeah, and Ben, any suggestions for Mathia?
I think there is the version. You're a wizard, right?
Yep, I'm a cleric / wizard. Yes.
A clizzard. No.
Oh, I'd say, in which case, which is your primary class?
Wizard.
Then I'd go with an arcane grimoire +3. It's sort of like it's the wizard equivalent of a moon sickle.
What does it do?
Boosts your attacks DCs, and when you use arcane recovery, you increase the number of spell levels you gain by 1.
That actually sounds incredibly useful.
What we'll do for flavor is your sparkling orrery is going to be upgraded to that, if that's the road you want to go.
That works like a charm.
Okay. So, let me just copy this over then. Scooch. And then we will edit this guy. Ugh. I'm sorry. Your sheet, your character sheet lags like hell.
Ah,
I know that's... It can't be a me problem because I'm the host. I think it's just these damn new sheets are just like, we're graphics heavy for no reason, and then, you know. Okay, select. Delete that guy. Yes. Alright, that's all. You are fully maxed out on your attunements. You can have no more
Okay.
attunables. I'm talking to Mythlia. Mythlia is maxed out on their attunables. So,
Fair.
Okay.
I'm going to dump the log real quick. See if that improves performance. Okay. A lot of these items I just had in Foundry, and a lot of them, I need to reload. This is just a nightmare right now. Hold on. You guys might need to reload. It might kick you. So. There we go. Okay. Yeah, the system has a lot of these items in the compendium. It's just a matter of, hey, this is what I want. Okay. You know, so at least for this campaign with supply points. Other campaigns don't have supply points, so you know.
Fair.
You have the benefit of being in an actual army and having stuff on
you
hand.
could, yes. Yeah, you just happen to have stuff laying around. You can make stuff out of.
Well, this is why no one's allowed to be an artificer. You know,
Because every artificer is doing this.
they're making your shit for you. Yeah. So some artificer somewhere made an animated shield and was like, this is probably going to be good for somebody. And found its way into your hands, Eliana.
Nice.
Nice. That's the system at work. Okay, so that's the end of this downtime, I will say. So we can just continue moving on. What are we, an 8 to 10 or an 8 to 11?
We're 8 to 10, I think.
Okay.
8 to 10, yeah.
All right. So that I'll let us do one more movement, one more days of movement. So that's 2 hexes, and then I will proceed to introduce us to our next scene, depending on where you end up, and we will go from there. Oh, I do need to move the enemy because I'm assuming you are doing your scouting as
We
well.
did our scouting, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Nope.
All right, that does change our movements.
I don't like that. Oh.
And you do receive a reply from Helkorth that they do need you to move to this position
Okay.
to assist in the defense.
I
You
figure we probably should go west and then southwest, right?
I think yeah, that's probably.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so this way and then this way.
Mhm.
All right. That'll take us to.
Now, hold on a second. If we went west and west, would then we get any speed bonus from the road to get there faster?
If you had gone west to west
To get here, basically.
you would be able to make it to this square on the next day. Be able to make it to this square on the next day, which is where you would be getting anyway.
Okay,
the road
so it
is
works
so
the same.
short here that it doesn't matter. It would matter if you were trying
Okay.
to come from a different road.
Okay, so we're okay. So we'll get to the position they want us to get to. Not this day, but the next day.
Yes.
Next morning, yeah.
Okay. All right. So morning of the 23rd, you arrive where you need to be. Write down that I do owe you 1 day of downtime. Just because I want to get to this part here before we move on for the
Sounds good.
evening. So. No, that's not appropriate. Actually, this is probably it.
Oh, the good music of positivity, yes.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Now, I know you guys can't see at the moment. You guys are moving into a large-scale encounter.
Okay.
You are approaching from the northeast. Ben's squad. Oh, no. Delete that. I gotta fix that right now. Sorry for the overage. We're a few minutes over. Okay. Please work. Yes. Nope. Delete again. Fucker. Okay. Fix this too. There we go. I'm gonna bet this one's broken as well. Yep. Of course it is. If y'all could just stop. There we go. Fixed that. Then Mordecai. And the captain. Okay. So you guys can see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can all of
Not yet, no.
Yeah.
Okay, let me fix that then.
No, why are we only 8 to 10? Because all of the previous episodes, and I didn't think I was insane, so I went back and checked all the previous episodes except for IHR are all 3 hour plus.
Oh, I can't, because I can't remember. It's probably why.
Yeah, so as far as I know, we're 8 to 11.
Well, if everybody's okay.
At least we have been as long as I've been in this campaign.
Well, if everybody's okay with continuing, then we can continue. If not, then can't continue. So
I'm fine with it. I think if we're gonna get into a big fight, I would prefer Darrow being here.
Yeah, same.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there is that. Yes.
Okay. So let me just make sure that you guys are configured right, and we can. You should already have ownership over this squad. Yep, you do. And then Mordecai should already have ownership over his squad. Okay, so let me just move you. Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay. So we're
That's a fuck ton of Balefire Belchers.
yes. So as you guys arrive, this is the eastern defensive line of Helkorth here. Helkorth is a large defensive fortification that is masquerading as a city. It's mostly a fortification rather than a city. These earthworks here, all of these moats and such, are all dug. Canals and such to kind of protect the city as well as the roads to it. This fort up here is just an external fort that is made to protect the approach. Same with this right here. As you can see, the battlefield is kind of gnarly at the moment. There's some mantlets and palisades that have been constructed ahead of time. Each of these hexes is 30 feet. For those of you that use big spells. And your hex movement depends on your type of squad. So if you are a squad that moves 2 hexes, Eliana, that's you, you would be able to move 2 hexes on a turn. Large scale battles are large in scale, so it will take a while for us to chew through this, and there will be opportunities to sort of shift yourself, have discussions with each other, kind of make tactical choices and consider your options. You do have allies on this map, you do have enemies, but this is what you see as you're approaching. Thanks for the all caps message there, Lee. I will certainly remember that. Oh, and thanks for the 400 exclamation point one too. Thanks, D.
I literally put it in the rules channel first without realizing, so we're all good.
It's good. We're fine. We're fine. So this is what a large-scale battlefield looks like. It's not much different from the world map. And when you move a hex, you would move in the same fashion. So 1 hex this way, or rather, 1 hex is this way, and this is 2. So
Got
you'll
it.
be able to move in that sort of fashion. Each hex needs to be spent in that sort of way. It'll tell you how far you've moved. And if you have a range situation going on, it will also tell you in your squad's features what their range is. If it doesn't tell you what a range is, you're melee. So, for example, your heavy infantry squad, you have a 2 hex movement and a charge of 1d4 plus 3. So let's say we have an enemy squad. This is kind of like our tutorial space here at the moment because Morty's not here and I know 2 of you haven't done this yet. So let's say this skeleton light infantry is here, right? And Eliana, you are 4 hexes away from it. You're automatically in on a charge because you roll a 1d4 plus 3 for your charge. So to get within range, you're here or here. You can even charge to next to it automatically to the 4 position. Anything higher than that, if you wanted to get to the 5 or the 5 over here, you'd need to make the roll, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. If he's out here with a 1d4 plus 3, you would need to make your charge out of 5, 6, or 7 to be able to be within melee on with him. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you would
so much math for movement, but yes, that makes sense.
Well, you just roll your d4 and see, okay, am I in?
Yeah, no, 100%.
And that's pretty much it for your charge. Charge is going to be your thing. Heavy infantry, you want to get up close and personal. Your squad weapons are in fact magical. So they do magical damage against your enemies. You do a flat damage of 4 per hit. So your entire squad attacks So that's 5 attacks plus your 1 attack with heavy infantry squad weapons. So it's 6 total attacks. You roll your heavy infantry squad weapon, like so. It gives you a normal roll situation. Your squad rolled a 19 for the first attack. So you would roll 6 times, and we would see how many hits you make, and that's how much damage you would, how many times we would apply the damage. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay. That is the action, that is the attack situation in a nutshell. So if you're ranged, you can attack from range so long as they're within that number of hexes. You have an optimal versus an outside range. So for example, 7 hexes optimal, 10 hexes long, and that's in the guide of what those are like, which we both have been given. But an optimal range, just for the going over, is, where the hell is it? Range. Units have range values based on their weapons. Artillery will usually have the largest. This range is expressed in 2 values. The first number is optimal range, and the attack roll can be made normally if the target is within or equal to this distance. The second range is how far the weapon can actually fire with an accuracy drop-off. This is expressed as rolling the attack at disadvantage. If a unit does not have a ranged value, they are melee only. So your ranged squad of troops there, Lillian, have a 7 hex optimal range and a 10 hex long range. So 7 hex, you can shoot them, this squad of skeletons, because they're 6 hexes away. You would even be able to shoot them if they were here, without rolling disadvantage, because they're 7 hexes away. But out to here, 10, anything between 8, 9, and 10 is disadvantage, and beyond 10 is automatic miss.
I'm going to ask a stupid question.
No stupid questions. This is extremely new and complicated.
So, should I have on my character sheet heavy infantry squad weapons as like a feature or like part of my inventory, or should that, where do I
You have another character sheet in the characters
In the folder,
that should
yeah.
be your squad.
Yeah, so if you
Double
go to
click your current icon.
Yeah, if you on your current icon on the map now, if you double click on that, that'll open up your squad.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
You have a totally separate sheet for your squad. If you go into your folder in the Heart of Rage folder under squads,
I see.
your
Okay.
squad should be in that folder. So if,
Thank you.
yeah, if
Thank
you lose track of it, that's where it
hungry.
is. Okay, another thing that we have to go over real quick is terrain. Terrain is the majority of the hex is that thing. So these are all majority grass or plain. These are majority trees or forest, right? It gets muddy when we have hexes like this one, where we have half water, half land.
Literally muddy.
Yeah, that's not great to be on. Anything above something else counts as high ground in comparison. Just bring up terrain. So these buildings over here, for example, would be fortifications. They're difficult terrain for units to move through. They reduce all movement by half to a minimum of 1, except if you're occupying that fort. So this artillery here is occupying this fort. They move at normal speed throughout that fort. All charge rolls are reduced by half in fortifications. Ranged attacks from mountains and fortifications, including artillery, are made at advantage and have double the optimal and long ranges. So you get a range bonus on mountains or fortifications. These are mountains and fortifications over here. And they also provide cover from ranged attacks and melee attacks made from areas below them to the tune of +4 AC. Hills are different. They are hard to move up, but easy to move down. So this here is a hill. You are on a hill. But the hill movement rules apply only on where the line for the hill is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. So, just for a refresher here, this skeleton squad is on the line for the hill. So, they could be below that hill right there. And because the majority of that hillside is low ground, they're technically in the low ground. So, firing on them from this higher section is an advantage. So, and them moving up would be reduced by 1. So you don't get advantage. Rather, it's a range bonus. So
Makes sense.
yeah, and you have cover, to +2. So it's essentially just like mountains, except less beneficial. There are no deserts and wastelands here, but they operate just like plains. You guys aren't technically on a plain, so easy, no penalty to movement speed, no bonuses to stealth. Forest definitely has its benefits. Roads give +1 to movement speed, so this is road in comparison down here. And a dirt path like around this body of water is not considered a road. So that's not a road.
Mud, as previously established, yeah.
Yeah. But if the dirt path, such as over here in town, is not surrounded by water, it does not have water or does not surround water, it is considered a road. So these are roads over here. But these are not. And then settlements and structures. So there's a difference between the two. So this is a structure here. These are structures or settlements here. They provide cover, which is +3, and advantage on stealth. But this is a fortification, which is just like a mountain. So this whole section up here is a fortification. So that's the difference there. Does that make sense? I know,
Yeah,
I know,
that totally makes sense.
I know this is complex, but we have the guide, and we're gonna use it as we play through it. We've only done a couple of these encounters. I want to say 3.
Yeah, 3.
3 at most. So this will be either number 4 or number 3. And this is going to be, we're going to be doing a lot of this. So probably the next 2 or so sessions are going to be this large scale encounter. Because there's a lot of narrative that's going to happen here as well. So, but just to kind of give you your overview of what's happening, as you guys arrive, you see that the city is besieged, which is what you expected when you were coming here anyway. Your friendly troops have extended themselves out into the fields surrounding Helkorth. Your allied forces have more or less kind of created a picket and have blocked the enemy advance. They have a magical barrier around the city itself that is preventing enemy artillery from blowing the city to Kingdom Come. Though you do see extended efforts from the enemy's artillery, the Balefire Belchers, to continue to pummel away at that shield, that magical shield that's over the city. There's a lot of counterfire coming from your own fortifications. There's a lot of you can hear the din of people yelling and moving about, even from your distance. And you have received orders to assist in the defense of this area before moving into the city itself. You're basically here to shore up the defense. Reinforcements are supposed to be here soon to relieve you. But the enemy is basically pressing against this part of the city now to kind of attempt to get a foothold. So that's kind of where we're at the moment.
Do we see any of those dragony things?
Not at the moment.
Just for
Okay.
clarity on the message, can we still send Saifashai and the Shogun into the city, or is that not not an option?
That's not against your orders. In fact, your
That
general...
was actually something I was going to, in the downtime day before we were getting there, that was something I was going to bring up to the captain, actually.
Okay. So you wanted to ask her if you should send them into the city?
Basically, Ben will say, like, we were 15 kilometers, right?
About 15 miles, yeah.
15 miles. So that is sub 1, with the Eagles moving at top speed, that is sub 1 hour. Well, it's 1 hour, like sub 1 hour there, 1 hour back. So if the commander thinks that Ben could get into the city on Eagleback, Ben was going to offer trying to get the teams into the city before this battle.
Okay. She will say, I think it's a good idea if the city's shield is down, but if it's up, which I think it will be because it's pretty much the only thing defending the city from enemy artillery, then you won't be able to get into the city through the air.
I could land at the rear gates if I have some kind of right of or a sign of passage from you, and get them in that way.
That's more of a viable option. You have your ID anyway, so that'll help. And I'll give you a writ. So she'll produce a writ that'll basically give you leave to finish this part of the mission and then return for duty. So you're kind of taken into your hands here the final your main victory point, right? So there's a couple rolls you got to make here. The first one is to avoid enemy patrol.
Indeed. I'd ask basically the rest of the group if they have anything they can do to. I'd ask Lillian if she's got any tinctures that we might use to increase our stealth. Any things like that.
Not as such. Nothing for stealth, I'm afraid.
Fair. I suppose I'd also present it to the sergeants in general. If you think this is too great a risk, we can keep them back until we've fought tomorrow.
To sort of completely be transparent in the risk here, if you fail the stealth roll, we are changing the battlefield to be just the people who were on the Eagles against an enemy patrol. That's if you fail the stealth roll. If you fail the other roll, which I haven't disclosed yet, everyone who's with the Eagles dies. Which would end in failure for the campaign's main objective. So it is risky, but it is a potential means to get victory right now.
And even if we all die tomorrow, we've succeeded.
Correct. So, you know, to continue on that thread of transparency, Saifashai and the Shogun are in the captain's squad. So if her squad goes down in the large-scale battle, they die.
Out of character, I'm not going to make this decision by myself. So
yeah, that's why I'm saying this.
I'm almost of the mind, Lee, that like we should sit on it until the next session. Like, I think it's Like, the payoff is incredible, but what really scares me is that second roll.
Mhm.
Like, I'm almost of the mind that, like, I would rather get into the battlefield to give you and the two teams cover as opposed to you be going it alone. But I also recognize that that carries inherent risk in and of itself.
It would mean that my squad doesn't have a leader in the battle.
Yeah.
I suppose I also would want, because I want everyone to have an input as to whether or not this happens, Mordecai's input on it, so.
Mm-hmm.
But it is an option that I can do.
Yeah, it's not like it's a split second decision that we're letting sit until the next session. It's something that we would feasibly in character have time to sit on at least the night of it happening. So like I'm fine on waiting for Darrow
Yeah.
to come to a decision on it.
I think that's reasonable. That's why I wanted to disclose all the facts of what you're asking.
Mhm.
I feel like if we do end up fighting, this is the kind of battle that I want to come in like fresh at the top of the session and just like throw all my tactical brain at it.
For sure.
Yeah, we're not going to.
Do you have an opinion on
now, so.
Trying to get the teens inside before the fight or after the fight?
Is there a third door?
A third door? Door
Yeah.
number 1, door number 2, door number 3?
Well, here's the thing. Like, what we can do is draw their fire, and then when everything is at its thickest on us, then we send the teens in, giving them the best chance of success.
The way I'm sending the teens in, unfortunately, requires me to be with them.
So I think Apostate's question then is there a third option that sends the teens in that isn't that method? And the answer is yes, because this is a living, breathing world, and you can do any number of things. Just because we're in this large-scale squad format doesn't mean you can't break off from a squad. So what that would look like is the captain would lose the benefits of Saifashai and the Shogun in her squad. They would be alone on the battlefield, and they would move independently in that fashion. You can tell them where you want them to go. Let's say you get to this fort, right? Just to game it out. And you need them to get into the city. And so they just really need to get across this road. And you guys could provide cover or draw the enemy over here in this neighborhood or whatever your plan will be, right? If you get them in there by foot, that's still successful, even if you got them in the same fashion as if you flew them over, but you wouldn't lose the benefit of your squad having a leader. You would just lose the benefit of those two being in the captain's squad, right? That would be like the third door kind of option. Or you could walk right up to the gate with like a cluster of you guys and just push them in the door and then go fight your fight. Like, you have options to get them inside, but the first decision that needs to be made is either you take them to this battlefield or you fly them into the city. And the flying them into the city reduces the risk to 2 rolls, but very, very risky rolls.
Oh, the other alternative here, and that I'm thinking of, can we jump back to our overworld map for just a moment?
Yes.
If we had went down the road, then we would have been 1 hex over to the west. Could we have dropped them off and then moved a hex to the east to where we are now?
Then we would have been half a day late for this battle.
Well, the battle is in progress at the moment. I mean, it isn't like it's waiting on us. It's happening at the moment. But if dropping the kids off is the number 1 item, then we could get them dropped off and safely in the city.
The battlefield that you have seen so far is where it is based on your current choices. If you spend another half day, the battlefield will look very different.
Okay.
So that's just my disclosure. All these choices have repercussions and have different options and have different levels of risk. So what I'll do, because it seems to be quite a bit of discussion that you guys want to have here, is I will take a snapshot of the map as it currently is for the battlefield. I will move you back to the morning, which makes you, I think, here.
Or like this is the evening of the day where we're doing the downtime, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so this is where you will start. So it is not quite the 23rd. We're moving back a day to the 22nd. Okay. So you can approach here through do your drop off, but you'll be half a day late, or you can show up, or you can do your fly in and then show up.
Right.
But that still leaves the enemy patrol role, because the only bypassing the enemy patrol is if you head straight to the battlefield.
Right.
Otherwise, you're risking running into the enemy patrol in either situation, whether or not you fly them there or whether or not you walk them up to it.
I see the. Yes, yeah, I'd like to see the battle map as well. All right.
So this is what
we are 36 hexes. That's times 30 feet is. Times 30 is
1,080 feet.
1,080 feet.
So about a quarter mile.
Yep. I can technically conjure the eagles, one eagle. Actually, I can conjure the eagles to help us in the fight and take them. Is the thing.
Yeah.
So if we can get into a reinforced position, I can conjure an eagle to we can. Well, I don't know who we want on Eagleback. But I can get someone on Eagleback, the teens on the other eagle, get them. It's the fastest movement speed, so 1080 divided by 160. I can get them there in 6 rounds, a minute.
What's their fly speed?
It's 160 dashing.
Okay.
It's not even a minute, right? 6 rounds is.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
Seconds.
Sorry. Yes.
You said 160?
Sorry, I think rounding, it's 7 rounds then. So still less than a minute. It's 42 seconds.
What's their fly speed? 90?
80.
80, okay. Okay, so they have a hex fly of, we'll round up to 6.
Okay.
Because a Rescivore squad has a hex fly of 4, and they have a fly speed of 60. So they would have a hex move of 6.
So they could get there in 6 rounds.
Yeah, half a minute.
Which I can. So we have 4 eagles to play with.
I like
And
the
if you-
odds of half a minute.
If you need the assistance of possible assistance of Chronal Shift on to get you any luck in that, or Fortune's Favor, or any amount of 98 HP worth of sleep.
Mhm.
Any of those things are available to you?
The other thing I was considering doing was our deadliest ranged fighter. This is a super crazy risky tactic aside from the kids, but 3 of our deadliest ranged fighters on eagles just rushing these fucking artillery.
Well, you have artillery here and here.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the other question: is how do we know what the range on some of that artillery would be?
It's 12 on flat.
Yeah.
So, but these are on mountaintop, so that's double.
So 24.
4.
Yeah, they can almost touch you guys.
But can they? How good are they hitting How good are they at hitting airborne targets?
For them, it's no different than hitting a target halfway across the map.
But if they're in the air several hundred feet up, they're not airborne anymore. They don't have the mountain advantage anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, at least some of the spellcasters could turn ourselves. Plus, the eagle we're riding on likely invisible.
Do you have invisibility?
Yes.
Okay. That is actually very useful.
Now
I have invisibility. I have for lack of a better way of describing it in character, the ability to see basically I'm sorry, roll that again.
I think actually that does put together. I conjure 4 eagles in the forest. You turn the one that's picking up the teens invisible. It's flying invisible straight for the whatchamacallit, straight for the door.
The problem is the teens aren't invisible.
If they're being carried by the eagle, they are technically invisible as well.
Nice.
That was
Well,
pretty.
Cypher may have invisibility, right?
She
I
has
don't know. If
We checked. She has greater invisibility, not less. Not regular invisibility. So she can only turn herself invisible.
Okay. Yep, I can.
No, finish with the thought. Sorry. I guess my only other question is the shield is up, right? Like we would have to get the teens to that door. We couldn't bring them in over the wall further north.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the shield, is up. Otherwise, that's what the bright flashes in the night were when you were camping. Was the city getting pounded by enemy artillery and the shield blocking them? Bright arcane flashes in the distance. So that was, the shield is up. That's why the captain believes the shield is up.
No. The other thing there we can toss on them, because it is not a concentration spell, is Sanctuary on. We could toss Sanctuary on the eagle.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that doesn't protect them from area effects though. So that might not help them with artillery. Although I could give them Shield of Faith though. But no, let's say no, Shield of Faith is concentration, and if I'm holding invisibility, then I can't hold Shield of Faith as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we could move your eagles twice as fast, or an eagle twice as fast.
With haste?
Yes.
Okay. That single eagle then would be moving at 12. If we get into the forest, let's just say middle of the forest, that's 30 hexes. Or if we launch from the edge of the forest, 27 hexes. Yeah, 27.
Still,
So
three turns either way.
if we haste it, I can't invisible it though.
Yeah.
I
Do we
think
want-
invisibility is more important if we have artillery to deal with.
You have so much artillery to deal with. So much. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Joy of joys.
9 Belcher squads.
We definitely want to prioritize targeting these when it comes to the actual fight, because they're so close together and they do go boom when they die.
Yeah, they do explode.
Are the Belcher squads, is that like ballista? Is it what's that mechanically like?
So it's a big, like, frog-like monster. It's like a big frog demon, and it belches big balls of exploding fire into the air that comes crashing down on whatever their target is, and that explodes. So, the Balefire Belcher squad is 1 Balefire Belcher monster and 4 Scrumgore. And I'm pretty sure you guys are very familiar with Scrumgore and how much they are made of suck. They just absolutely suck. So, to deal with. They suck to deal with. They're not terrible as far as fighting force goes. So.
They're actually my favorite because they make the best noises.
Yeah, and they do talk a lot about accounting. So. But this is just what you see, what is currently active on the battlefield. Half a day, if you take the half day route, this battlefield will progress by 1 half day.
Terrifying. Okay. I think we could go rounds around this all night. I think let's call it. That way we can make sure Darrow is involved in any like crazy decisions, and then that way we're not all running on. We're coming into a fight smart and not dead.
Fair.
Okay. Well, I think that's a consensus, right? We're all good with that?
Yeah, that puts us almost to 11 anyway.
Okay. Well, we will break here then for the evening, and barring anything crazy happening or people not being able to make it, we'll play again in 2 weeks. So, I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank everybody for playing, and I hope everybody has a good rest of their week, and we will be back for more Valgast stuff on Saturday. So join us then. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.